Okay, any spirits that are with us here now with this table, would you please come through? All I'd like you to do is just manchette just anywhere at all on the board, just so that you can let us know that you're with us. We've got to leave the finger very lightly touching that planchette so that you can use our energy, but then you can guide them and you can move that. Here's your chance to come forward. Come and talk to us. We're here with respect. All we wanted to do is find out a little bit more about you, and we're happy to tell you about ourselves. Just come forward. Thank you so much. Use our energies. Don't be scared of using our energies. Run through us. Take a little bit from each of us. That's great. Well done. It'll probably show up on. Okay. Thank you for going to yes. Now, could you please give us the first letter of your first name? Would you do that for us? That's great. You've got the hang of that now. What's the first letter of your first name? Be nice and clear, please. It can be a bit difficult if you've never used this before. Have we got a letter?
Aye.
I. Okay, is that correct? Is it the letter I? If it's correct, please take the planchette to the yes. Again, like you did earlier. Run through us. Pass through us and use our energy. Use my energy. We have electrical equipment around. You can drain the batteries out of that if that's easier for you. Lots of energy here for you to use. Don't be afraid, we give it freely, we're not asking for anything in return other than being able to talk to you if that's okay, and even then you don't have to talk to us if you don't want. But if you could take the planchette to yes, I'd greatly appreciate that.
It's drying.
Use my energy as well. I'm more than happy for you to use my energy. That's better, that's fantastic. Well done. Getting the hang of that now. Yes. Okay. So we understand that the first letter of your name is I, is that correct? If it is, take the planchette back to yes for us. Great. Would you mind telling us if you're male or female? Could you do that for us? By moving the planchette over to the male or the female. Writing on the table. Up at the top end. That's great. I think you've seen them. Use our energy. Don't be afraid to use our energy. It's fine. So you're a man, you're male, is that correct? If it is, take it back to yes. Fantastic, thank you. Thank you for that, really, really appreciate that. Could you give me the second letter of your first name? I think I know what it is, but if you could give me the second letter, that'd be wonderful. Move the planchette over the second letter of your first name, Your first one's I, so what's the second one? I knew that would come in.
Ian. Is your name Ian? Hello Ian.
Welcome to the table, Ian.
Thank you for joining us.
Do you know somebody around this table, Ian? Is that correct? If it is, move off the yes and go back to it for me. Just move off the yes and go back if you know somebody around this table. Okay. Are you associated with this building, Ian? Again, move off the yes and back to it if you are associated with this building. Need it a bit firmer than that. Fantastic, thank you. So I'm going to take it in that you're associated with this building. Would you do me a favour and just move the planchette into a white space so that when we ask you a question we know it's easier for you to go to yes. So if you just move the circle so it's on a blank space or between letters. Thank you. That's great. Now, Ian, are you one of the 7 spirits that we have often been told about here? Thank you for telling us that. And if again you can put the planchette onto a white space, so we can, that's great. We've never met before, Ian. Did you know David? Or are you here earlier than David? If it's earlier than David, move to yes. Great. Now there's some dates on this board. Could you possibly tell us what date you was around in this building or on this ground? Would you be able to do that for us? Be a bit clearer for us, please. Let me read that. 1200, and what's the other date? So it was 1200 and what? Can't be right. Ian, we need to be fairly clear about this, and I really appreciate your efforts. You're doing extremely well. We've had both 1200 and 1600. Can you give us the correct one now? Not you are.
Mine already on it.
Table have moved though.
Yeah. 1900, is that right, Ian?
If it's right, move to yes. Okay. So we've got 1900. What decade was it? 50s, 60s?
Wasn't there fire in this place?
No. I can ask.
In the mills round here, there was fire also.
1940.
I'm sure it was after that year.
And
all these. Yeah.
So you were here in the 1940s, is that correct? Now obviously the 1940s were a very busy time because of the war. Could you give us the actual rest of the part of the decade? So were it 1941 or 1942 that you were here?
Was it during the fires?
1944, was that towards the end of the war here that you were here? Be a bit firmer for me please Ian, so we know that we're not mistaken. That's great. Could you move the planchette to a white space, because Matthew's got a question for you. Ask away Matthew.
Was you here during the fires?
Quite firm that, isn't it? Thank you, Ian. I've got a question. If you were here in 1944, were you working in a factory as part of the war effort?
You got bombed as well, didn't you?
Okay. Could you tell me, was it a factory that you worked in here? If it was, move off and then back to the yes again for us so that I know that that's the answer. I'll give you that Ian, thank you. Could you spell out one of the things that you made in the factory by using the letters? That's a B. Can we have another letter please? I don't know where this is going. That's an O.
Did you make bombs?
Fantastic. You were an important man then, if you did that for the war effort, because it was for people like you that we're still around. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And thank you for telling us. Because I bet you had to sign like the Official Secrets Act and things at the time, didn't you? If that's correct, can you move off the yes and back to it? I'll give you that. Do you think your bombs were responsible for a lot of deaths? If there were, move off the yes and back. And back to the yes, please. If you think that's true. Thank you, Ian. Can you please move the planchette to a white space? That'll do, that's great. You can leave it there. Do you feel a bit guilty about what you did, making those bombs? Thank you, Ian. And I don't think you've got anything to feel guilty about either. It was a horrible time for lots of people. It really was.